Hey guys, it's Alyssa from AlyssaNalani.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today is the fourth installment in a series that I'm doing this month called Build a Better Year 2020. And if you have not yet watched the first three videos in the series, then I invite you to go check them out. The links are in the description below. They kind of build on each other, so I'll be referring back to some of the things that I might have talked about in the previous videos, so do go ahead and check them out, get yourself all caught up. So far we have talked about how to do a brain dump and set life priorities. Then we talked about how to choose a planner or planner system for 2020. Then we talked about setting resolutions and goals for the new year. And today, as you saw from the title of the video, we're talking about how to choose a word and verse for the year. Now, what I hope to accomplish in this video is just to give you some tips and some pointers and kind of tell you and show you what went on in my head as I was considering my word and verse for the year. There's no right or wrong way to do this. When you come up with a word and if it fits, go for it. You can claim it as your own. But if you need just a little bit of help and inspiration, I hope to give that to you today. Now, as you can see, I do have my notebook that I've kind of been playing around in here. Playing around in for the series. I've got some sticky notes, a pen, and then I've got these cards that came with my power sheets. As many of you have seen, these are my power sheets. If you don't know what power sheets are, I did do an unboxing. That video is linked below as well as the link to the shop if you want to check it out for yourself. One of the colors is already almost sold out as of the recording of this video. So if you're just even considering it, please do yourself a favor, check them out. You won't regret it. But anyway, these are two of the cards that come with the power sheets. And one of them is a card where you can write your word of the year. And then this other card, it's a postcard. And it's got Laura Casey's signature statement. All those things you've always wanted to do, you should go do them. And I just wanted to kind of keep this out here for reference and for inspiration, because I think when choosing a word, you really need something that is going to function as your focal point, as your center. And I've talked about this before, but for this past year, 2019, and then in 2018, I had words that really seriously, for the first time in my life, really brought me back to center. 2018 was the year of brave for me, and brave really functioned well in my life. And then this year it's been faithful, and that's been my word of the year. And whenever, it could be all kinds of things, positive and negative. You come to a situation or you have thoughts in your head, you're trying to maybe problem solve something, and for me, my word of the year would kind of kick in my brain, and it would remind me what my goals were for the year, what my focus was, what I really wanted to accomplish, and what I wanted to, what am I trying to say? It reminded me of the things that mattered. And so when Laura Casey says something, or when we consider what she's saying, all of those things you've always wanted to do, you should go do them. Sometimes that is like an actual physical project, right? Sometimes it's your thought patterns, right? If you've ever thought, I really need to change my thought patterns. I think too negatively, or I beat myself up too much, or I don't pray enough, just throughout my day. Whatever it is, it can be something physical that we touch and that we do with our hands, or our bodies, like if we're working out or wanting to lose weight or eat better or whatever. But sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's social or relational. So think about all those things, and some of this you may have gone through when you were brain dumping, some of it you may be still processing, but think about all those things that you want to do in your life, whether it's a project or whether it's something that's intangible, and figure out how you can get those things done. And picking a word for the year really does help with that. So I did kind of want to just point that out as we go through this process. So I'm just going to turn to a page in my book. And if you've never picked out a word for the year, then I honestly, seriously, just get a piece of paper and a pen and start jotting down words that appeal to you, right? So for me, some of the words that come up that pop up in my head are words like focus, hustle, Can't write in cursive. Brave still comes up. Brave. Faithful still comes up. And I'll go reuse those words. Let's see. What else? Simple. Okay. Beauty. Let's see. This is almost a brain dump type exercise. Don't censor yourself. Don't edit yourself. I'm trying to think of what else. Faithful, simple, organized, generous, selfless, patient, educated. Y'all, there's so many things I want to learn in my life. Educated, timeless, feminine, strong, courageous, what else? Courageous, cultivate. I actually, because I'm using Power Sheets for the first time, I actually did consider cultivate for my word of the year. Stylish. There's another word I'm thinking of. Contentment. Joy. Peace. Gentle. I'll just put all the fruits of the spirit, huh? Gentle. Love. Let's see. I feel like I need one more. Like right here. Now I'm looking at the page. This is purely aesthetics. Let's see. Power. Okay. So you write out just the words that pop out at you. Okay. The words that are in your head, the words that seem to kind of crop up over and over. And start thinking about why. Why do these, excuse me, why do these words, why do these concepts or themes appeal to you? And let's see. Last year, Brave, I chose Brave because I wanted to do things that scared me. One of the bigger things was YouTube. YouTube scared me. And I've talked about this before. Had I not positioned myself, I would not have tried it. And so finding a word of the year is also about positioning yourself, giving yourself, a foundation. Faithful was my word for this year because there were things that I wanted to focus on in my journey, my spiritual growth, in my walk with Christ. And so I really wanted to be faithful to the things that matter to God in my life. And so that's why I chose this word for this year. For next year, I kind of wanted to keep both. I also love the word focus. I also love the word strong. I also love the word generous and selfless and timeless and courageous and educated and feminine, right? These are all words, cultivate and gentle. These are all words that appeal to me. And so if you find yourself in a position where you're like, man, I like 20 different words, then your next step is to figure out what might encapsulate or what word can you find that might encompass all of these themes and feelings and concepts that appeal to you, okay? Now, I'm going to pause here and say, you don't want to choose a word that requires too much of you. And this is something, I was in the shower and I was thinking about this. Y'all, you know, some of your best ideas come when you're in the shower. Anyway, I was in the shower and I was thinking about this, and you really don't want a word that's going to put pressure on you to perform a certain way necessarily, okay? For example, a word like hustle, okay? That is really calling you to perform. If you are in a season, excuse me, guys. Take a sip of water. That cough is still lingering, but it's getting better. Anyway, if you're in a season, for instance, where you are maybe in school or you're moving up in your career or whatever, maybe you and your husband or your family, you're working on a specific project, a specific goal, and it's requiring your hustle, right? I mean, you just got to get it done. That's requiring something of you, but the word itself doesn't, at least in my head, you guys, this is my brain, this is how I think, right? It's requiring something of you, but it's more, to me, it's more motivational than obligatory. And I hope that makes sense. When I see the word hustle, and if that's the season I'm in, that's spurring me on to do so rather than making me feel obligated to get something done. I hope that makes sense. That may not be the way that it works in your head, because words mean different things to different people. Well, scratch that. Words don't necessarily mean different things to different people, but they're going to feel differently to different people because of our background and what we associate with those words. So for me, hustle is motivational, but for somebody else, it could be obligatory. So don't choose a word that's going to make you feel pressure to perform a certain way, because when you're kind of maybe in the pits or you're going through a rough time or whatever, you should be able to turn to your word of the year, and it should make you feel like, yes, I can do this. This is what I need to focus on. This is what I need to be intentional on. This is where I need to kind of come back to. It shouldn't make you feel like, oh man, I'm such a failure. I'm not doing well. I just need to, do better. It shouldn't make you feel obligated, but it should motivate you. One second, another drink of water. So don't choose a word that requires something of you in that way, okay? Also, I've just gone through circling all these words, and I've just said that maybe you can find one that kind of encapsulates all of these concepts, but at the same time, you don't want to pack too much into a word. You should be able to look at the word, consider the word, and know exactly why you chose it. You shouldn't have to break it down or make lists or think, what the heck was I thinking? None of that. You should be able to look at it and know right away, that's where I need to get back to. That's why I chose this word. This is why this is important to me. Okay, so don't pack too much into it that, a few months from now, you're kind of not sure why you even went down that road to begin with. And then also, don't put too much pressure on the word, okay? Because, you're looking at a 12-month period of time, and that's a long time, and a lot can happen in 12 months. So you choose a word that fits the season you're in. And if come spring or summer or whatever, even, a couple of months into the year, if something happens or you make a decision that changes kind of the trajectory of your year, something changes, and if you have to choose a new word, so be it. This isn't something that you have to commit to come hell or high water, okay? So choose something that's going to fit the season that you're in, that you kind of feel fits the trajectory of your year right now, but don't feel like you're committed to it, no matter what happens. This isn't a marriage. It's supposed to be a tool that helps keep you focused and moving forward, okay? So, having said all that, let me tell you what my word of the year is, okay? So I considered all of these words, and I thought, man, I really like all of these concepts, and I really like all of these ideas and what they do in my head, but I obviously can't pick 20 words, okay? So I chose the word classy. Now, for those of you who may have seen other videos on my channel or read some of my other blog posts, This might not even be a surprise to you at all. Classy is a concept. I don't even like the way I wrote that. Classy is a concept that I've been intrigued by for a while, and I've written about it on the blog. I've done a couple of videos on the channel here, and basically for me, because I'm very much a vintage soul, I'm very old-fashioned, and in my likes, I like black and white movies. I like, the 40s and 50s, all that kind of stuff. So the concept of classy for me is when I see, a picture of like a vintage woman, a vintage picture of a woman, right? Yes, it is very surface, and it could be considered superficial. To see a woman who has, the beautiful dress and heels on, and her hair is done and her nails are done, and she's got the hat and the gloves and whatever. And I totally get that that's just surface, right? That's all outward appearance. But what it represents for me is very much a way of carrying yourself, okay? Class is not just the way you look. It's also the way you carry yourself and you live your life and you position yourself. Okay, so for me, classy was very much, this word for me encapsulates the ideas of being focused. Okay, a classy woman knows where she's going, at least knows the direction that she's going in. A classy woman is gentle when she needs to be. She is also powerful. She is brave. She is faithful. Okay, so of course for me, being a Christian, I'm going to position the word this way, as a Christian. So classy woman to me is faithful. She is prayerful. Did I spell that? Yep. Thought there was more to the word. She is trustworthy. This is something that I want to work on in my life. Being trustworthy. Saying what I mean and meaning what I say. Let's see, what else did I write on here? She's educated. And yeah, I've gotten my degree. I don't know if I'm going to go back and get more education, but outside a classroom, I believe that a classy woman should stay educated in the subjects that matter to her, right? She should never just stop learning, because there's so many things that we can learn, whether we're in a classroom or we're not. So she stays educated. She cultivates what matters, which is Laura Casey's whole brand. She cultivates. Okay. She's wise. She takes care of herself. So she is good about self-care. And in the different areas that I consider self-care. So, what are the 5 areas of self-care? Y'all, I don't even remember. I have my own blog post. Environmental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and then there's another one. Social. So she believes in good self-care. She's organized. Okay, now, I just got finished telling you not to pack too much into a word, okay? Especially if this is your first time doing a word of the year. And I am kind of packing a lot into it, but I will say, she's stylish. I will say that these are all things that I desire to work on. So like all of these concepts are constantly in my head all the time. This is lifestyle, okay? This is lifestyle. 2018 was really about focusing in on doing the things that scared me. This past year was really focused in on being faithful. 2020 I've said this again, like I've said this before, I'll say it again. This is my last year in my 20s, right? I've got 6 months left. By the time January hits, a little over 6 months. And so I really want to look at, what does it take to be this? And this means this, all of these things. And so she's simple. Not simple as in simple in the head, but simple as in she's not full of drama. She is, there's not a lot of clutter around her. That goes back to environmental self-care. So there's simplicity about her. Also in the manner, in like the way she dresses or carries herself, her accessories and things like that. Let's see, strong, timeless. I already wrote strong, right? I did not write strong, so she's strong. She's timeless. Okay. So anyway, your word of the year might encapsulate a lot of other words. But notice that with my choice of words, am I in focus, guy, or in frame? Okay. With my choice of words, they all kind of go together. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like, let's see, what would be an example of things that don't really go together? I really can't think of anything. I mean, honestly, when it comes to personal life, I could say something like, I'm trying to, okay, so a classic one might be something like, I'm trying to be a good mom, but I'm also trying to chase my career. There are women who can do that, and that might not, like, you might have to, find the balance, but you could totally find a word that encapsulated your desire to be a great mom and to do well in whatever work you do. I mean, there are so many different ways to look at this, and I honestly think there's really no right or wrong. So find the concepts and the dreams and the goals and the visions that you have, and figure out how you can fit all that into one word. And so, again, I feel like I'm contradicting myself. I also feel like I should just start the video over again because I feel like I'm contradicting myself. But I think, okay, I'm just gonna trust that you get what I'm trying to say, right? You don't want to pack too much in there that it overwhelms you or that you don't know why you chose the word. But if there are a lot of different concepts in your head and you can find a word that reflects that, go for it. Go for it. As long as it's not confusing or distracting or not helpful. Okay, choose a word that's helpful. That will be a tool for you. Okay, so classy is my word of the year. Okay, for all these reasons and more. And it is definitely something that will kind of not determine, that will speak to, it's not the term I'm looking for, but it will speak to the content that I do make next year. So, all right, so classy is my word of the year. Let's talk about a verse. And the same thing goes, like, find the verse that will kind of address or speak to what your goals are. So the verses that really stick out to me, there are two of them. The first one would be, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. The other verse, let's see. It just left my head, you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It literally just left my head. I had another one. Well, it's not there. I cannot think of what it is. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. But seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's Matthew 6. Was it 6? I'm looking it up, guys. I want to make sure I have my reference correct. Yeah, 6:33. Okay. Seek first the kingdom of God. I have a lot of dreams and a lot of things that I would love to pursue next year, but this is first and foremost. To seek first the things of God, and after that, God will take care of the rest. All these things shall be added unto you. Okay. So that's one verse I'm considering. The other one is a favorite of mine, and that is Isaiah 40:31. Isaiah 40:31. It starts out as, "But they that wait upon the Lord." That turned out a little funky. "Upon the Lord shall renew their strength." And then the rest of it says, "They shall mount up their wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." Both of those I memorized in the King James. So those are two very familiar verses to me. They're wonderful verses. I have not landed on one yet, and I'm still considering some others. The other one that I had in my mind, literally, I cannot think of it, but I'll try to remember it, and I'll consider that as well. But basically, when choosing a verse, find the verse that is going to not necessarily encapsulate what's going on in your head, but that is going to propel you forward. You might even need a verse that doesn't really, like, okay, for instance, when I was thinking about the verse, I wanted it to relate to being a classy lady, and I was like, I don't know, Proverbs 31, like, how do I do this? But honestly, I need a verse that's going to keep me focused on heavenly things. And your word may or may not seem religious in nature or spiritual in nature. Mine does not at first glance. And that's okay. That's okay. But when considering a verse, what is the verse that's going to minister to you so that it gives a solid foundation under your word, whether or not it's religious or spiritual in nature, okay? What's going to inspire you? What's going to keep your gaze upward, so to speak? What is going to keep you focused and with all of your intentions well ordered? So I hope that helps you guys. That was very rambly. There really isn't a tried and true process, at least not in my opinion. There maybe somebody has one out there, but in my opinion, honestly, just think about the words that inspire you. Think about what this season needs right now. Remember, you're naming this season, or the one you're about to walk into in 2020. It's kind of like, we feel like we can't dress for the body we have now. We have to dress for the body we want, or we put off maybe dressing a little bit better because, well, my body isn't the way I want it to look. That's okay. You may be in a season where it's not the way you want it to look right now. That's okay. Put a name to it. You're naming the season for now, or the one you're just about to walk into, right? Not the one you want. Focus on where you are at now. Dress the body you have now. And when you lose that, when you lose that 20 pounds, you get to dress for that body. When you get to the next season, you can name that season. But name the season you're in now, dress the body you are in now, and run with it. I kind of mixed the metaphor in with the point I was trying to make. But hey, if you are not dressing your body well because you're waiting to lose the 20 pounds, then that was for you too. So just consider the words you like, name the season you're in, and then choose a verse that is going to keep you motivated, that's going to minister to you, that's going to inspire you to keep your focus heavenward, really, just over all of it, and your focus on Christ. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I know I'm a bit behind on comments. I actually just went through before filming. I went through and answered a bunch of them, hearted a bunch of them. I do see them all. I'm kind of bad at commenting back. So bear with me. But if you do have questions, I'll be sure to get to them as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I will see you on Thursday when we talk about our next topic, which is, what is it? Writing a mission statement. We're talking about mission statements on Thursday, so stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.